Mrs. Smith, and I just saw Darlene a second ago. Did we lose Darlene?
I'm here.
Oh, there you go. And Ms. Young is also present, and myself, John Kites. And then we'll move on to public participation. Do we have anyone that would like to speak? Do we have anyone? If so, can you please raise your hand? Oh, and just joining us now is committee member Mr. Meek. How are you, Brian? So we do not have anyone to speak, is that correct?
That's correct. Currently, no public attendance.
Okay. We will close public participation, move on to administration. That's the approval of the minutes of September 1st, 2022. Would someone like to move those? Thank you, Mr. Livingston. Any corrections, omissions, deletions before I call for the vote? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand to signify yes.
Aye.
Unanimous, great. Okay, and now going on to new business, item 2A, Economic Community Development, General Updates. And number 1, we have the MLK Corridor Project update. Jessica, I believe you're going to provide us with this update.
Absolutely. So we've been working on not only the MLK Corridor Initiative at getting those projects out the door, but also the ARPA projects as well. And so the way that I organize the updates for this evening is to talk a little bit about transportation, green space, environmental, talk a little bit about some of the efforts that we're doing in neighborhood safety and beautification. So if it's okay with everyone, can I give you the ARPA and MLK updates just under those headings? Is that all right for everyone?
With me, any objections? No, sounds good, Jess.
Thanks. So we're really excited. We're going to we have launched already the Wall Street Phase 2 and Phase 3 project, which includes a taste of Wall Street in August that was held to be able to welcome the public and giving us input on redesigning the Wall Street neighborhood. And that includes looking at Wall Street between Belden and Brook. It includes looking at River, Burnell between Belden and Maine, and reconfiguring the intersection at Belden and Wall. And so it was $250,000 that you had approved for design and the Common Council had approved for design. And we're really looking forward to working with the library at the Belden Main Library to be able to host a second public input and charrette in November. And so we're going to be announcing that. So I wanted to be able to give you a highlight of that and let you know that the date is yet to come. We also have an update on Complete Streets. We were able to interview, put out an RFP and interview a number of firms, and we're moving forward with FHI Studio, which is really great because they're also the consultant that's handling our transportation master plan. So we feel like it's really great to be able to have them do the transportation master plan work in parallel with the Complete Streets work. The contract's currently with legal and we're going to be executing it, but it definitely is a really big step in getting to Vision Zero and being able to achieve all of the things that we've talked about over the last couple of years. One of the items that we're going to be talking about that's funded through MLK project that has been on our capital budget for a number of years and we have not been able to move it is the Mlk Staircase between Hamilton and Mlk Drive. And this was a project where we looked at both staircases. We were able to do the staircase at Clay and MLK, but we were not able to move forward the one at Hamilton and MLK. And so Mike is actually going to be presenting on that later this evening in your meeting for approval. So I will leave all the details for him to be able to share with you. We also had a really great couple of meetings with the consultant that applied to or responded to the Affordable Housing Plan RFP. And so we're going to be working with a company called AKRF. They're going to be helping us with our affordable housing plan, and we're really excited about it. As you know, the Affordable Housing Trust ordinance is being talked about through the Ordinance Committee and Common Council. And in addition to that, we've also been talking about a housing forum, which is a bigger, broader conversation to talk about housing in the city of Norwalk and how affordable housing fits into that, and understanding not only where affordable housing is needed, but what the gap looks like, what we should be striving for, and how we can actually change our current different policies and practices to be able to encourage more affordable housing and what that means for the city moving forward. From an MLK facade improvement program, we had put $750,000 from the MLK corridor initiative into that particular effort. And where we are right now is we're marrying that with a loan program. The loan program is actually funded through GGP, and it's $500,000. And what we found was that some of the homeowners that we've been working with may have emergency repairs to do. They may have a boiler that needs to be repaired, a roof that needs to be repaired, something that's more mechanical in nature, more structural in nature. So we were able to take the $500,000 from GGP, and what we're doing with the redevelopment agency is we put out an RFQ, and we'll be interviewing different contractors and tradespeople to be able to have a short list of teams that can do work for us. And in that sense, we're able to then roll out the facade improvement program and also roll out the loan program, which will help us to support low-income families to be able to make improvements to their home. And we're really excited about that. We have guidelines and standards that we have published for prior rounds of this for the facade program, not the loan program. So we have a starting point here, but we need to meet internally to be able to strengthen up those standards and guidelines. And we are looking to launch both of those programs early in the new year to be able to have as many families apply to that money and receive that money as possible. We're really excited about it. I don't think that it's something that we've done in the city before. And so it'll be interesting to see how those programs are used. Part of what we're doing for MLK is it's a reimbursement program from the state. So we have the contract in place and we have all the pieces in place. And much like ARPA, it requires reporting. And so what we've been doing with the MLK project in particular, because there are so many different pieces, is working with the construction manager at the state to be able to make sure that that construction manager approves each of the projects and guidelines and standards and the way in which we're procuring the services, so that way we are able to ensure that when we submit the documentation, that reimbursement is going to come through. And so we've been working to make sure that that's happening. We've also been working, I think you probably saw some tree planting that's been going on in the last number of weeks and some announcements there. And so we've been really excited to be able to push forward with that. Not only have we been doing a number of different tree planting exercises, and including 16 brand new trees on the MLK boulevards between Washington and Low Street, but we've also been able to interview a couple of companies for the Canopy and Tree Inventory Assessment. And right now we've been able to award the contract. Well, we've been able to write an award letter to one of the companies that we've been working with, and we're going to be meeting with them to finalize their scope of work moving forward. And that canopy assessment is really important. It's not only going to look at the coverage of trees in Norwalk to see where we have gaps where we should prioritize some of the tree planting, but in addition to that, it's actually going to allow us to inventory each of the trees and the health of the trees and understand how we can build a maintenance plan in order to be able to have those trees be as healthy for as long as possible. So really excited about that.
That, Jess, sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Will that have a tree planting plan as well?
Yep. So they're different. So there's a piece of it that is the canopy assessment,
Right.
a piece of it that's the inventory assessment. There's a maintenance plan, and then there's also a planting plan. So all four of those pieces will be part of that contract, which is great in the sense of being able to say, where should we plant the trees? And then how do we plant the right species in the right places? And then how do we maintain them in the right way? So it'd be great.
Great, thanks.
Yep. And I think if you didn't see, we just had announced planting 54 trees along Wilton Avenue, which was great. And, nice to see that they were planted in the amenity zone, trying to really use that as a model moving forward. And in addition to that, 55%, more than 55% of the trees were native species. We were able to plant some ornamental trees on the western side where the utilities were overhead to be able to keep the trees a little bit lower. And then on the eastern side, be able to plant the trees that are a little bit higher. So we're trying to use an approach that's called right tree for the right space, or right place, which is basically being able to understand what tree will thrive in a particular location and be able to move forward in that. And I think the plan will be able to help us do a little bit more of that as well, which I think will be great. The other thing that's really exciting is that Parks and Rec has been working to work with a consultant to be able to build out the playgrounds for Bolton and also Meadow. And so that was part of the
Jess, I don't mean to, just real quick, Mr. Yosak has requested to be moved over as a panelist. I guess he's currently a attendee.
Oh, there he is. He's an attendee. There we go. There he is. Mike, I thought I was going to have to steal your thunder and present the Hamilton Staircase there. I was wondering where you were.
Oh, thanks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So we're looking at the two, Parks and Rec were able to secure a large amount of funding and in a really great way focus on playgrounds and parks. And it's just so important to be able to think about that. And with the MLK Corridor project, we were able to supplement a small piece of funding, $300,000 to look at the Bolton playground, which had two playgrounds. One was replaced in 2016. The second playground has not been replaced. And so this money will help to replace that second playground. And in addition to that, we're working really closely with Parks and Rec to look at the Meadow playground. And I think that that is going to be absolutely fantastic. If you've driven by it, sort of what you end up seeing is a lot of tarmac and not really a lot of green space over there. So we've been really trying to focus on how to plant trees and how to be able to really green up that area. The one thing that I actually failed to mention, because I get excited when we're talking about all these things, is that we actually, when we're thinking about trees in South Norwalk, we have $250,000 to dedicate there. One of the things that we're going to be doing is actually getting together with the MLK Corridor Initiative Group and District B to be able to pull out a map and identify where the trees should be planted and try to develop a plan that is with the community and being able to do that. So I'm really excited to be able to meet with them and Paul Sotnick to be able to figure out what that plan is going to look like. And I know that it was a huge conversation as part of the MLK Corridor group. So I'm sure that they'll be happy to be able to weigh in on exactly where those locations are. And one of the things that we're focusing on there is not to focus the tree planting in and around the current development or the newer development that's happened, but to actually plant the trees deeper into the community on the residential streets where we know that the residents will be very appreciative of that work. And I think just as an update for safety and beautification projects, because I know it's come up in this meeting before on what we're doing as far as being able to use the cameras to be able to find people who are dumping and littering. We actually used existing cameras on Commerce Packaging to be able to look at Gray Rock Road. We were able to identify a license plate. The license plate then got tracked back to the police department, and we were able to find the vehicle owner who lives in Stamford, who came from Stamford to use Norwalk as their dumping ground. And so we were able to address that. And in addition to that, we also there was a large amount of dumping that happened just a couple weeks ago over by Gray Rock Road. We were able to, when we were actually cleaning out and removing the garbage, we ended up finding a plane ticket, and the plane ticket actually tracked back to someone, and we were able to find them and they admitted to dumping in that particular area, and they had come back and cleaned it all up and we were able to follow up there. So, really great work with the team. I know it's come up a couple times on how are we focusing on South Norwalk and how are we thinking about engaging the community, and also, part of these updates are related to MLK Corridor, so they're focused in that particular area. But I just wanted to give you a brief update, and I know it's really quick and I've been talking a lot, but wanted to let you know that all these projects are moving forward. We're really excited about them. The team is really energized, seeing good work on the ground, and so we're just really excited to be able to move these projects forward in a meaningful way. And maybe we can give you an update in the next 3 or 4 months on where we're at with more progress.
Jess, any questions? Great update. Okay. Moving on to B1 is the holiday extravaganza. Both
Sure,
on
thank
South
you.
Norwalk and Wall Street.
Yeah, so another really exciting thing that I don't think that we've seen here in Norwalk for a long time. Just before I do move on to that, I did want to say that in your next couple of meetings, we will be bringing forward Webster Street Lot and also some LDA language, but I did want to give you a heads up that that will be coming over the next number of months. There's been absolutely no issue as far as the technical agreements on any delay in bringing those to you. It's more just been resources and trying to ensure that the teams are aligning both internal to City Hall and external to City Hall. So more of a timing piece as opposed to anything technical that you should be concerned about. So we're going to be moving forward with those, and we will bring them forward to you. But I wanted to, I know that they've probably been top of mind for the last couple of months, and just wanted you to know that they're coming. So holidays, super exciting, super exciting. So we are working with the Parking Authority and LAS to be able to put together a holiday extravaganza, two separate holiday extravaganzas. One is going to happen in South Norwalk in front of 50 Washington. And we're planning on closing Washington between Mlk Drive and Main Street. Santa Claus will be there. He will make a very fantastic arrival, but I can't tell you how.
Are you going down 50 Washington, or are you going to climb down it, just like in Stanford?
No, not me personally. Not me by any means. And we're going to have carriage rides, horse-drawn carriage rides. We're going to have a petting zoo. We're going to have a carousel merry-go-round that's free for the kids. We are going to have photos with Santa, and we're also going to be offering carolers a chance to be able to sing to everyone who is able to be there. And it's just going to be a really great event. It's scheduled for November the 20th between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. We have a 30-foot Christmas tree that will be arriving to 50 Washington Plaza. We will be lighting the tree at that point. We've worked with Mike Oz to be able to use his empty space on his main floor to be able to hold a market fair, a market where different vendors can go and set up their goods. And then we'll be setting up a different portion of his main floor for City Hall to be able to set up tables and be able to have information on all the services that we provide. And we're just really looking forward to it. We're really excited about it. Laz has really stepped up and being able to provide the funding for us to be able to organize all of this. And so really looking forward to it. Sunday, November 20th between 3 o'clock and 7. And then we're also going to be doing a second holiday extravaganza. And the second one is going to be up in Wall Street. So wanted to make sure that we were sharing the holiday cheer with everyone and being able to cover the neighborhoods. And the one in Wall Street is going to happen on River between Burnell and Wall Street. And Santa Claus will also be there. He'll be arriving in also a very fancy way. We'll be having a laser show. We will have a merry-go-round, and we'll also have a petting zoo. It's a Tuesday evening, and it's from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So it's probably geared a little bit more to an older crowd, whereas the Sunday, November 20th is geared much more to families. It's more during the day and it's on a Sunday. But both of them are going to be absolutely fantastic. We're so happy about it, so excited about it. And, I can't wait to see everybody there. And we're going to be producing flyers and sharing those flyers. So really, really excited about it.
I'm glad you were really, really excited about it, Jess.
I am. Come on.
I'm glad you are.
So
That's good stuff.
Chairman Cuddies, I'm going to share in that really, really excited moment as well, because
I love it.
because I have to say that Jim Travers and Jessica attended the district meeting and talked about, for this purpose of just sharing the holiday festivities. And I just have to tell you, the district is so excited that this is happening. And I just think it's a good thing. And it's just exciting for the city. It's not just South Norwalk, it's the city. And it's for everybody. And we're just really, really excited about this and all of the work that you've been doing on the MLK initiative So thank you so much, Jessica, to you and the team, and to Mike, and to everybody, and to the council, because we've all got to support it. We can have great ideas, but at the end of the day, it comes before us as well to support these initiatives. So thank you, Jessica.
Absolutely. We're really grateful for all of your trust and grateful for your support, because without that, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be having the update. So, we're moving forward a bunch of things that everyone is really invested in. And it takes a lot of financial commitment, but it takes a lot of personal investment as well. And so it's really good. We'll also have menorahs as well set up for the holiday celebrations. And so we'll be also focused on that as well. And I'm glad that I'm not the only one who's really excited.
And a Kwanzaa, right? You got to get the.
Yes,
Okay.
you're absolutely right. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Jess. Okay. Seeing no other questions, I will now move to the one item. And like Jess touched on, we've got a lot coming up, a lot of T's being crossed and I's being dotted, and so expect a very productive planning committee meetings in the near future, or excuse me, economic community development committee meetings. Okay, moving on to item B2, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to enter into an agreement with CDM Smith, Inc. for contract document modifications and construction administration services for the Hamilton Avenue pedestrian access enhancement project for an amount not to exceed $59,000. Would someone like to move this? Thank you, Ms. Smith. So, Mr. Yosak, will you be speaking to this item?
Yes, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you.
Years ago, well, about 5 years ago, we did the Bates Street staircase, and at the same time, we did the Hamilton Street staircase on Martin Luther King Drive. The bids came in more than we had money available for it, so we had to, basically put the project on the shelf until we could be able to find funding. So we have found funding now under the Martin Luther King monies, and we would like to move forward with that design, because most of the plans have been done up to date, but things have changed a little bit since those plans were developed. So we need the consultant to go back and update the plans, and then advertise it for bids and the construction management. So that's a proposal you see before you that covers the updating of the drawings and some of the construction inspection work during construction of the project. I'll let you know that this was a sole source because these consultants were the ones that designed it. So to bring another consultant on board now would it doesn't they would have to review the drawings, and it would be much more expensive than what this proposal is for. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Mr. Livingston.
Yeah, thank you. So Mike, I didn't see backup. Maybe I missed that. I didn't see that we got it. But so what's going to be the difference between this staircase and the existing one?
This is a little bit, they're similar in design. The other one's heated. This one will be heated. This one is more circular because it's high. It goes higher up the hill. So to make it ADA accessible, it kind of wraps around. So it's a little bit more of an expensive construction than the one at Bates Court.
But I guess maybe more direct question, I guess, is so if we had a design before, what do we have? Why do we have to update the design?
Basically, if there were any code changes and with the heating equipment and everything like that, that there may be newer models and more efficient models. So that's basically what they're looking at.
It just seems like okay, $59,000 if they're just looking at that. But
well, it's not just for that. It's also for the construction inspection and services as well. That's
I mean ongoing services.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, see the questions that were now called. I'm sorry. Oh, there you go.
All right, I think this happened in the past. What's the budget What's the budget itself for the staircase?
It's
700,000.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, I'm just curious, is there artwork planned for in the future for this staircase? Like the other, which was so wonderful?
Yeah, I imagine there will be. There's actually $75,000 of the MLK money that's coming from the Urban Act program, which is the state money to support the staircase. But in addition, there's that 75,000 for artwork as well. So we're hoping that we haven't identified locations for it. The Arts Commission will help us do that. But I'm sure that given the success of the first staircase and how nice it looks, I'm sure that they'll be looking at the second one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thanks.
Okay, seeing no other questions, I will now call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand and signify yes. Ms. Young is also yes, unanimous. Great. Thank you, Ms. Yosak. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end. I hope I'm glad I could get you out of here early, Darlene.
Thank
And
you.
if there's nothing else, I will now call for a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Thank you, Ms. Smith. All in favor? There you go. All right, everyone, have a great night.
Good
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.